Hello. Some of you may know me. I was recently asked by two idiots to say a few words on their behalf. So, here goes. They're raw, unrefined, definitely rough around the edges. Apparently, they're all you're gonna need for the next 2 hours. Really?
Good afternoon and welcome back, everybody. It's your host with the most, Big T, and we want to thank you for joining us again for your favorite weekend barbershop talk show, Something for the Weekend. Today we got something special lined up, so I hope you're ready, relax, got your drinks, and you're ready to enjoy. Thank you for joining in to Something for the Weekend. And we're back. Oh, yeah. How's everyone doing today?
Doing well, doing well.
It's all good this end.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, UK is going through a heat wave at the moment. 35 degrees.
Oh,
That's funny.
So, yeah, hose pipe ban or an amber alert. Whole country.
Yeah, you fresh off vacation and you still throwing nice weather in our face. That's real professional of you, Andre.
Actually, it was pretty upsetting. We came back from Portugal to find that the UK was having great weather. That was a bit upsetting. It would be great to come back and hear everyone complain about how bad the weather was. So that wasn't
Yeah.
Well, we're back for your latest episode of Something for the Weekend. Today, we have joining us is Joey. Joey on the ones and twos. We'll say what's up, Joey.
What is up, everybody? So glad to be back again.
Oh yeah, and the man behind the idea, we got Andre Freeman with us here today. Say what's up, Andre.
Tis good to be back. Tis good.
And the one and only Roxanne.
Oh, I love to say that. I'm good. Hi, folks.
Oh man, and unfortunately, Easy can't join us today, but we're thinking about him, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be tuning in. Want to thank everybody out there in the audience because without you guys, we couldn't make this happen. So, without stalling anymore, looks like we're going to get into some views from the news. Was anybody want to volunteer to go first?
No, you go for it.
Okay. All right. I got a question for you. What do you think is the pettiest reason you can sue somebody for?
Oh, in the U.S., it's no surprise. Nothing would surprise me. I don't think.
Who knows? You can't sue anyone with bad looks, obviously. So I don't know.
I don't know. I think I remember hearing about somebody suing their parents because they're ugly.
Wow.
The ultimate in bad looks.
Actually, come to think about it, I recently saw a video where a young girl sued her parents for being born and won a settlement of $5,000 a month. Says she didn't ask for the responsibility of being here, and the court had approved her request, and then a week later the parents got it overturned.
Amazing.
Jesus.
Amazing.
Well, if you think that's bad, this article right here will make you laugh even worse. A Chicago woman is raising eyebrows online after suing a man $10,000 for standing her up on a date.
Cool.
There's a viral clip going around of the court case of her berating the judge for not respecting or not honoring her lawsuit. The woman named Quashante Short had reportedly filed a lawsuit back in 2020 in which she alleged that Richard Jordan did not show up and left her on her mother's birthday, and her mom had just passed away. Per legal documents obtained by the local news source, Short sued the accused date ditcher for international infliction of emotion of distress on the grounds that Jordan had deliberately hurt her by standing her up. There are then more articles showing them going back and forth about the guy not owing her anything, and Jordan saying, "Who is she to try to sue somebody for not being able to stand on her own?" The judge said that Short said in her testimony, not something that really is justifiable, but you got to understand my mother had just passed away. You can't just leave somebody like that who's hurting. After some back and forth between Short and the judge, the defendants weighed in, deadpanning, "To be honest with you, sir, I thought this was just going to be thrown out. That's why I never took it seriously. So we had a date, one date, and nothing else after that. Now I'm being sued for $10,000. This is incredible, and I can't believe you guys let this happen. What am I even doing here?" Like, honestly, the claim ended up being thrown out, but I'm just like, come on now, not showing up on the date,
Yeah.
date.
Yeah. So, I mean, that means you could take it a step further then, and I could start suing then if Roxanne's late. I mean,
Don't go there. Do not go there. Right. When this show is over, you've got to live with me. Do not go there.
We'll leave that one there. We'll leave that one.
No, but I'm thinking about it. Is it really that bad what she done? I mean, yeah, but I think about it. They arranged to meet, so it's some kind of commitment there. She would have gone out, got herself ready. She's talking about the emotional distress. I don't see why you guys think it's wrong for her to have sued.
Well, it's the same thing where I feel when I'm waiting. Okay.
So you mean to tell me that you meet somebody, you go out on one date, and you guys have I'm assuming a good time, and the second the date was agreed upon by both parties, and the other person doesn't show up, and that crushed you so bad that you need $10,000 to deal with all of the distress and the angst that you got from someone not showing up.
You can't put money or put a price on it. She says that emotionally, that's what she needs to get over it. Me, maybe I wouldn't need so much, but I think I need to be compensated for the time, the money that I would have taken to get ready for this day, and you not turning up. Really? You've committed to me. You've said that we're going to go on another date. I'm assuming everything went well, and then you ditched me. I think I need to be compensated for that.
Oh wow! How not? So they worried.
In that case, I would assume that feelings omit logic in that particular standard, at least from a woman's perspective, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we honestly need to adopt some kind of social credit score for people. Like, honestly, just kind of like you can rate your Uber driver and they can rate you or whatever. And we could do something like that. I mean, where you rate people, and I mean, obviously we'd have to figure out some way to keep the algorithm from from you couldn't what do they call it, something bombing, like review bombing, where you just post a bunch of negative reviews to a restaurant or something on Yelp, but just something to keep people from doing that. But I mean, there needs to be some kind of social credit score when it comes to this stuff, so you're less likely to just be a shitty person.
Really?
Okay,
Can you imagine how life would be?
It might be much better.
That's like suing your parents for not buying you that truck you wanted when you were 8, like, and you're 35. Like, come on now. Like, can every guy sue a girl who ever cheated on them and they wasn't married? Is that what we're coming down to?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, China does a social credit score, so
Dude,
I'm pretty sure I heard that somewhere, that China has some kind of social credit, but I think it's more along the lines of the Chinese government rates its citizens. I think, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
but
I mean, there are countries that still do beheadings and firing squads. Doesn't mean we need to adapt to those, policies or anything like that.
Hey, look, I'm not opposed to like public discipline of people when they break the law here. Like, I mean, think about, all right. So in the US, I don't know about the UK, but in the US, I've worked this out in my head already. But in the US, we're in severe debt, like trillions upon trillions of dollars in debt. Imagine if everyone that we were going to put to death, they did it as a pay-per-view event. How much money the government could raise for people, because I would buy a pay-per-view event to watch somebody that was murdering people, or serial killer, or a child predator, or whatever, get put to death. I would absolutely buy a pay-per-view for that. The government can make so much money.
Okay. Jerry for president, eh?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to be president. No way. If I'm going to take office, I'm never leaving office. I'm going to be a dictator if that's the case. I'll be the first good dictator.
I don't know. I guess
Audrey Haynes says women should be allowed to sue for exaggeration of manhood.
I mean, look, here's the thing about that. If a man is bragging about the size of his manhood, it's probably not really what he says it is, because most men don't go around talking about the size of it in reality. Most men, anyway.
If that's the case,
12, 13 inches.
I could.
You may tell everybody who listen, man, woman.
I don't know. No. I'm always going to say smaller. That way, you always gotta undersell. That way, it's a good surprise whenever it's better than you say.
Okay, so if that's the case, if women going to start suing for that, then men are going to start suing for women who don't actually look like themselves once that mask comes off. Because a quick baby wipe,
very good.
A quick baby wipe will expose so much.
Baby wipe,
My wife has been watching Love Island, the UK and the US version, and there are so many good-looking people in there. But then it shows them when they wake up in the morning and they've taken their makeup is off, and like, that is not the same person that was there just earlier.
Yeah, but they must have something. You got to have a good base to. You can't just apply makeup to an ugly face and it be beautiful. You've got to be.
No, look, I'm telling you, I have seen a tutorial where it shows a person starting out, and then they without any cuts, they take the makeup off, and it is not the same person at all.
Trust
it's
me,
insane.
I have went to sleep with a China and woken up next to Sean before. Trust me, I know. All right. Anybody else got a story?
Okay. My one. It's yes. I think it's also embarrassing story. But anyway, Angela Holloway had been shopping for her parents, Margaret and Donald Lincoln, throughout the coronavirus crisis. So the 59-year-old was confused when her mum asked her to pick up some of the gorgeous pate she bought them after delivering their weekly shopping. Her mother, 80-year-old Margaret, told her they had eaten the really lovely pate with baked bread and asked her to pick up some more. When asked what pate, the Sheffield couple who now live in France fetched a tin of cat food Angela had purchased for her own cat, Aggie.
Oh gosh.
I guess I must have missed that tin, she said. Her parents, who had recently moved to France, were still struggling to read French and somehow missed the cat on the packaging. Upholsterer Angela said that the 80-year-old Margaret showed her the tin, which they had finished off completely. I burst out laughing. She couldn't understand why. Neither of them became ill from eating the tuna-based food, and although Margaret saw the funny side, the 95-year-old dad, Donald, was less amused. The pate was a little pungent and had chewy bits,
Oh.
but tasted as good as anything my wife had ever cooked, he said.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, I thought that was amusing. I also saw that that there are jobs for you can taste dog food and stuff like that.
Humans.
Yeah. You can and cat food. But I just the reason I'm bringing it up because I know that Joey loves his dogs.
Yeah.
Have you ever been tempted?
I don't give my dogs anything I wouldn't eat myself. No, that's when I was young. So I think my mom was 20 when she had me, something like that. She was like 20 when I was born. Anyway, and she had a brother and sister who were like 15 and 16, and we lived right next door to them for a while. And so I kind of grew up when I was very young. They were kind of like an older brother and sister, and they treated me like I was their little brother. And multiple times they fed me dog food. So
Wow.
it's yeah, multiple times.
Hold on. Who did?
My aunt and uncle fed me dog food. They were playing a joke. That's it. They put dog food in a bowl and put some water on it, kind of stirred it, and told me it was cereal or something. I don't know. I don't know what they told me, but yeah.
And did your parents know?
Not at the time, but I mean, no one cared in the 80s, no one cared. It's like, that's a funny joke. That's just what happened. I mean, they also gave me wine. They also gave me some sips off of a wine cooler when I was like 4 years old or 3 years old or something, and it got me drunk.
I remember you said that. I remember you said that.
Yeah, and then there's some pictures of me somewhere in a diaper with sunglasses on and a cigarette in my hand. It's not lit, but it's still a cigarette in my hand. And I'm like, because my aunt and uncle thought it was funny. I mean, that's just, I get it. That's fine.
That's the 80s in America. That's what that is. That's the 80s in America.
Yeah. And in the South, there's no telling. I mean, I was very young, and my uncle gave me and my cousin chewing tobacco, like, just to see what our reaction would be. We were quite young, like, I don't know, 8 or 9, 10, something like that. And we're chewing it back. I made us sick. So,
wow. Okay. I'm a little bit surprised at some of those.
nah.
Hey, Joey, do you remember in the 90s that bacon snack that I mean, they still sell them, but the commercial they did for the dog treats called
bacon strips.
Yeah. So, like, when I was a kid, they used to make that food look so enticing, right?
Yes.
And when I was in high school, I was working at this dollar store, and a friend of mine's, we brought up the commercial and started randomly talking about it. He was like, "Man, I bet this don't taste that bad, right?" And I was like, I'm pretty sure that humans can't eat that. So he started reading the ingredients off of the bag. He was like, "Look, all of the stuff that's in here is the same stuff that like in everyday food or whatever." But I'm like, I'm pretty sure they put something in there specific for dogs, like that only dogs can eat. And he's like, "Nah." And he ate it, right? And he's chewed it up for like the first 30 seconds, and then I guess he tasted whatever was in there and ended up throwing it up. And I was like, man, well, I'm glad he did it before I did, because I was going to try it when no one was looking.
Yeah. Oh, good Lord.
Joey, you got one?
Yeah, I got something here. Let's see. It's a story of heartbreak. For some people, the pictures they post on their social media accounts are specifically curated images that put them in the best light, make their lives seem perfect. And while you're free to run your Instagram however you see fit, you should take care to make sure you don't ruin any real life relationships over your online image. That's exactly the position one man's found himself in after his girlfriend told him that he is uninstagrammable, meaning she didn't think he was good looking enough to post pictures of on her Instagram. And to make matters worse, the man said his girlfriend has been posting pictures of herself with others on Instagram, with other guys on Instagram instead. And while the woman claims she still loves her current boyfriend, she told him that as far as her Instagram followers are concerned, she is dating someone else because he's the type of bloke she wants to visibly be with.
No.
So she's embarrassed. She's embarrassed with the way he looks. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I'm in my 30s. We've been dating since a year before the pandemic happened. We both had a connection from day one, and neither of us had experienced this so soon before or to this extent. However, our lives are different. She's very visual. I'm not so much. Even if I spent everything on operations, I'd still be, I'd still be minging, which left me feeling out of place. I still love her, and she says she loves me. Her closest friends know about us, but her wider circle doesn't. Before she told me that I was uninstagrammable, she posted a picture of her and her boyfriend, which wasn't me. It was some other guy.
Sure, she's not just sleeping around and what I mean, hiding it in plain sight.
I don't know. I mean, it's so people are very particular about their info. I know. Talking about having your cake and eating it too. I mean, good
hiding in
Lord.
plain sight, man.
Yeah.
I have so many questions. Who's the other guy that she's posting? Like, is it a random
I think
like
it's
cutout of a person?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's multiple people. I'm trying to see if I can find a picture of these people, but I don't see one anywhere.
Okay,
More
so that
importantly,
begs
is
the
a picture of the
question.
boyfriend.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to. Let's see here.
That,
He's
Go ahead.
Instagram. You're not gonna find him.
that begs the question, like, would you rather be flat out told that you're ugly or explain to it like through social media like that? Like, because at the end of the day, I guess you're going to find out whether she says it or you realize it through actions. But either way, she doesn't find you attractive, which means you need to leave her alone. Like, it's not worth it. If someone told me I was uninstagrammable, I would think about punching him in the throat. I'm just that hurts. I don't know what he's going through, but that would hurt.
Yeah, he's obviously got emotional problems because why would you stick around? I mean,
Yeah.
just because she thinks he's uninstagrammable, I'm assuming that there'll be others out there who would be happy to have him, who would think he's attractive enough to be with.
You would think. I don't know. I can't.
Do you got a picture of her, Joey?
No, I don't have any. This guy wrote into an anonymous thing, and that's where the story came from. So I don't have any of that. So
yeah, I want to see a picture of her since she's so high and mighty. You know what I'm saying? She might be. I mean, from the word that she used him, she called him a bloke. Isn't that like something like a European would say or something like that?
Yeah. This story came from the mirror.uk. So
the mirror.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Maybe she's an 8 in her circle, but she might be a 4 in someone else's circle. So maybe he needs to find a new circle of people.
I mean, yeah, there's always somebody that thinks you're great looking, and always somebody that thinks you're ugly. So it is what it is. Oh God.
I mean, to me, he sounds like a guy who obviously was, heartbroken and looking for some answers, and that's why he decided to write in anonymously and, I guess share his story and look for some type of, sympathy. And I'm just like, I understand, but not everybody does. I mean, if you put in that situation, you wouldn't know what to do, especially if, you don't know how to, deal with something like that. So
But that's a good
That
point.
actually,
Why did he write that in? What are you going to gain from telling the world that?
I think it's one of those things where he's just asking like, am I okay to be hurt by this, or like, am I overreacting, or what's going on?
You don't know. You don't know.
Some of the exactly, yeah.
were there replies to the story?
Not on the Mirror's website, but I mean there might have been at the other place. But let's see. They've shut it down on there, so it looks like they've shut it down so far. So there's only a couple of comments, and none of them are funny. It's just more people like trying to tell him, you're good, you're fine. She doesn't sound very great, or whatever. So
Yeah,
it's nothing good.
What do you think about that, Roxanne?
What do I think about it? I think that he should just leave her. What is the point? I mean, we're with you choose your partner. Well, I would have thought based on your own level. I wouldn't date someone I think is below me or above me.
But
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, what do you think you're above me?
I mean,
well, well, one of us is punching.
That's what I was going to say. Is I've heard it said you should always date someone slightly below you. That way, they always feel like they're doing good. Is what I've heard it said before. Because I've
I've seen you must have.
Don't ask questions you don't want to hear the answers to. Is all I'm saying.
Sure, right.
So yeah, so I would have thought that they were at the same level. So we haven't seen a picture of him or her. But
of course, sometimes especially as a bloke, if you've got enough banter or enough talk, you can. I would have said, yeah, you can. Especially, the guys, the ones who are visual, and you women are always telling us that it's more about the guy and what's inside.
Yeah.
Well then, so if he's not as attractive, but he comes correct, will you not entertain him?
He gets a foot in the door, but if I think that he is so ugly that I don't want to be seen with him.
What you mean? You mean like the woman? Yeah, that's very strange. Obviously, she checked him during the lockdown, so she thought that she's got a couple of years or a period of time when she could be with him and nobody would know. But I guess lockdown finished a little bit earlier than she expected. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
In that situation, it sounds like he has money. He doesn't have anything but money to her that he's bringing to the table. So that's all she can deal with.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, I mean, now that we're talking about that, it kind of goes hand in hand with our first subject for today.
So I actually have one more story, if you'll indulge me.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is from a let's see, this is from NDTV. So this is a story from a local newspaper. An unusual advertisement in an Australian newspaper has grabbed eyeballs. This is because a disgruntled woman decided to shame her cheating partner through a full-page advert. The photo of the advertisement has gone viral, cracking up the people on the internet. The picture shared. Let's see here. Let me share this so you can see this photo. Share screen.
Should we talk about ourselves?
There you go. Dear Steve, I hope you're happy with her. Now the whole town will know what a filthy cheater you are. From Jenny. P.S. I bought this ad using your credit card.
Wow.
Full page spread as well.
I know.
At least there's no pictures there.
Right. So anyway, I just thought that one was funny, and I had to get that in today before I forgot about it.
I think that's perfect,
Yeah.
That's since you can't do what's on your heart, you do what's on your mind, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So, if that's what it was better than her like setting his car on fire or, burning all his clothes or something like that. She just embarrassed him publicly and with his own money. If you're going to do anything, do it right. That's all I'm saying.
So there's a house that we lived in years ago, and I was coming home from work or going to work one morning, and this car I drove by, somebody had put shaving cream all over it, and it had stuff like "I'm a cheater," like "dirty cheater," whatever. So I guess a girlfriend. I think it could have been a guy, but I'm more likely a girl did that than a guy. Just stuff like I'm a cheater, whatever, all over the windshield and the back glass and on the car, on the doors and stuff like that. So, yeah, there's some. Well, I mean, what was the woman from TLC? Was it
Left Eye.
Left Eye that burned the guy's house down?
Yeah.
Was it a house? Damn.
Yeah, burned his house down.
She set the mansion on fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was a football player.
Good.
So anyway,
I've just got 2 comments with regards to Andre's news on the views. Anita Stratton says, "I would say bye forever." And Audrey Haynes says, "If I can't walk with you in the day, I can't sleep with you at night." It's a good point. Yeah.
I think that I think a lot of women feel that way. I don't think a lot of guys feel that way though.
No,
There's a lot of guys that don't do that.
Yeah, we avoid the light so we can do everything.
That's right. That's right. So it's the old saying goes, a 2 at 10's a 10 by 2. So just remember that.
Yeah. So leading into our first question for the day, since we're kind of on that theme, do women respect men once they show their emotions? This is a question that I sat with for a while, and I kind of got some mixed reviews once I tested this question. So I want to get your response first, Andre.
Okay, I think that do women respect men once they show their emotions? I think that maybe for the first couple of times, yes. But I think if you try to show it too much, you're going to come unstuck. And again, it all depends what you mean by show emotions. I mean, are we talking about crying when you're upset? That's showing your emotions. I think so. I think that we're limited to what emotions we can show and for how long. You can't show too much anger. We definitely can't show too much of being upset to that level that you're crying. I think after a while, your partner could well get fed up of it. That's what I think.
I kind of agree with you. There's a fine line that if a man, when I think of it like emotion, like crying, like blubbering, things like that, I can't take that. I don't like to see a man crying. Yeah.
See the pressures that I'm under, guys. See the pressures that I'm under. We have feelings too, Roxanne. We hurt too.
I know, but I think it's the area that I was brought up in. Men aren't supposed to show their feelings, unfortunately. Yeah, I know that you guys suffer from stress because you don't, and heart attacks, but it's how I was brought up.
Suck it up. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Suck it up.
Yeah, exactly. Suck it up. Suck it up.
Harsh, man. Harsh. So what do you guys reckon?
I think, in my opinion, I agree with you, Andre, because if that's the case, if you're a blubbering mess on the inside, I think that all respect goes out the window for a lot of guys because, either they were never taught how to manage their feelings or they just can't deal, period. And they looked as beta or soft or weak or something like that. And that's understandable. Not everyone is going to be the hunter-gatherer. You know what I mean? So you can't fulfill every woman's needs. You can fulfill your needs and someone who's, I guess at your level or who's there for you and regardless. So to me, they don't lose respect, but there is a line that you can't cross with, you know, a lot of women, because even if they don't say it, in the back of their mind, they're still thinking, wow, if that's how he feels all the time, then, you know, how can I, you know, really depend on him to be there for me if he's always crying? Because I need somebody to, you know, hold me up instead of me always propping him up, and, you know, so on and so forth.
Joey?
Yeah, I mean, I partially agree with you. I mean, I think I think it sounds good to women. They want a man that's emotional and they can, but once you actually experience, once a man lets you into where his mind is and what causes emotions, I think it's a scary place for men. So I can imagine if you don't understand what that feels like, because you know there are things women go through that men don't. We just don't understand what that feels like, and we never will. And so I can respect that. But I think if you get into what a man goes through, yeah, I think it's a scary place. And I think though, I think women would respect men if they could understand what that feels like to go through that. But since they can't, I think it just feels weak. To them. I mean, I asked my wife and daughter, and they both said yes. And my wife said, you know, showing any emotion is a sign of vulnerability, and we like when men are vulnerable. And uh, I think she truly believes that. I just think that there is, one of you said that there's a fine line there. It's a very fine line. But I mean, I heard my daughter say one time that, Stephen asked her one time, like, what's the number one thing your dad did that, like, where he failed you or something as a father or whatever? And she said, letting me see him cry. Like she said, I think that's letting me see him cry was the thing one time. Now, I think partially, I think she was partially, I think she was partially joking. It was just their opportunity to, it was their opportunity to make fun of me. But still, yeah, I think it sounds good on paper, but you have a guy that's letting his emotions out a lot, you know. But you also, if you're going to take the emotion of crying, you're going to have to take that emotion of anger and everything else too.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't pick and choose.
There you go. So that's interesting. So
Yeah.
it'd be interesting for the get some feedback from the listeners on what they think about men and their emotions, because yeah, like we've heard, we normally expect women to say yes, we want to see men their emotions, but yet we've got three guys here and a woman who are saying no, we don't want to see men's emotions.
Audrey Haynes says, yes, we do respect men who show emotions, but I will enable a guy to find coping strategies. If my partner doesn't use the newfound strategies, I'm going to leave at some point, as I am not a grown man's wet nurse.
See,
What if these? I mean, you can find coping strategies all you want, but if they don't work, they don't work. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, but I think this is proving the point I'm making. Like, it sounds good on paper, but it's like, yeah, you can be emotional, but you better find some way to cope with that shit, or
exactly.
Or else,
and if you don't, yeah. So I knew that when that sentence started, there was going to be a but. And sure enough,
for sure.
Halfway through, there was a but. So
and the man that's being emotional ain't gonna get that butt. So
And you know what's crazy? When women scream equality, but if they can't be overly emotional like the women are, then where's the equality in that?
Yeah. Well, that's a
equality is a touchy one when it comes to male and female, because there's a lot of the deck is stacked against men. I understand whatever, all the others equal pay and all that stuff. Like, I get that, but there's a shitload of stuff stacked against men, like suicide rate, dying younger, and things like that. So
yeah, I'm assuming women have got more, I don't know, power now than they probably ever had. Would you agree with that? Is that too far a jump, or is that right?
And I think a little bit. We haven't got as much power. I think that we not to match you guys. We're getting there. It's getting better, but I don't think we're there far enough.
No, but I'm saying, do you think women have got more power now than women had ever?
Yes, yeah, definitely. That's the case, but it's nowhere near enough. It's nowhere near enough.
Scary
Yeah.
again.
Well, I mean, I think everything is better now than it used to be, except maybe the planet. I think the planet is worse off than it used to be. But I think
Are men better off? Are men better off now than they were?
yeah, maybe not from a power perspective, but there are definitely things. I mean, because they're. I mean, you have to weigh everything in it. I mean, medically, men can live longer, and we can and do things like
life.
that. So
No, I'm
yeah,
talking
in
about
general, I think most
relationship-wise.
everything is better.
Relationship-wise.
Yeah.
What about relationship? I'm talking about relationship-wise. And that's really what something for the weekend normally likes to discuss.
Yeah.
Between men and women. So that's
Sure, and I
really
think that men are better off than they used to be in a relationship because women have a newfound power, or at least not. Maybe it's not newfound. Maybe it's new utilized. Maybe the women have gotten to a point where they can utilize it. And I think if a man is not overly sensitive or doesn't get butthurt over stuff, if you can understand that a powerful woman is only going to enhance your relationship. Granted, again, there's a fine line there as well, because some women, once they figure out how to use that power, are going to abuse the power, just like men are going to do it as well. I'm just, I think if you look at it correctly, a strong woman is good for the man too.
Yeah, I mean, with the rise of the respect for polygamous relationships, men are having fun and not having to deal with hiding their relationships. And if they are hiding them, they just with the wrong one. Because you don't have to be a cheater if you find the right people to be with. If
Oh,
you want to
sure.
be with a woman every day of the week, you find 7 women that you could be with for one day for each, for the week. You know what I mean? Like, you can create the life you want without having to bend the rules or break anyone's heart or anything like that. You can't be lazy and take the easy way out. And with anything in life comes hard work. And I mean, if you pleasing 7 women, that's going to be some hard work, so you got to make it happen.
We got a comment from Soul TV. They say, partially traumatized. The family needs to feel the father is in control, emotions included.
I mean, I agree with that, but just because you cry about something doesn't mean you're not in control.
Oh, well, it depends. I guess it depends how much you cry. I've seen people who've cried uncontrollably.
Sure, I understand that, but I'm just saying.
Let's get beat as a kid. I
understand. I'm just saying, but it says the family needs to feel the father's in control, emotions included. So he needs to be in control of his emotions. Just because you're crying doesn't mean you're not in control of your emotions. That's the point I'm making. It's like,
yeah. But I guess in this day and age, if you break down in front of your kids as well, that's got to be. I know growing up, if I saw my dad break down and cry, in fact, if I saw my mum break down and cry, I'd have been shocked. But I think it would have been maybe a little bit just more worrying. I would have been worried about basically what the hell's happened. What's happened that's made my dad cry? What's so bad that's made him cry? What's
Sure.
going on? What's happening?
Yeah, I think
when a man
you go ahead,
cries,
Roxanne.
Sorry. I think, when a man cries, to me, it's a lot more serious, or
you'd expect it
because,
to be.
no, because it's unexpected. You don't expect men to cry. So when they do, I would take it a lot more seriously than to see a woman cry. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I would, because I'm not expecting. I don't expect men to, I don't, like you, I don't think I've ever.
No,
when I've threatened to leave you and you've been snot blubbering and tears running down your
Snot bubbles. It's not bubbles.
Yeah. So sorry, I have seen you cry.
Yeah. That's true.
Not a good sight. That's why I'm here.
I think it's respectable if, like, you're grieving over like the loss of a loved one or from physical injury, but if we're sitting down eating breakfast and everyone's smiling, and then all of a sudden you start pouring out the waterworks, it's like, okay, something's not right, like we were just all smiling, and then something's obviously going on internally. It's like those guys that hold it in all their life, and then it happens during like that middle life crisis. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden you just sitting in your kid's playhouse drinking beer and crying with a smile on your face. You know what I mean?
You really go through a crisis, son. They have drinking beer. You really got a crisis.
I mean, because that, at least in our era, 40, 50 years ago, right? Like the guys were told to suck it up and, deal with it and never let that out, or, deal with it on your own time. So you never learn how to manage your emotions properly. And then women were just told to feel their emotions, all the time. So, they could have it under control. It's kind of the opposite for men. So except they just let the floodgates out, and you shut your valve off and threw away the key. So, what can you do?
For sure. I read here, it says here, when a man cries in front of me, be it my partner or not, I receive it as a huge honor. He showed me that not only does he trust me with his heart, but he also trusts in himself as a man to show his emotions. Men who break free of their conditioning to not cry are the furthest things from weak. They are courageous.
So don't be such an idiot. No.
Yeah.
It done
I
nothing
thought
for me.
it was quite poignant. Okay.
It is, but it is poignant, but it's a load of crap. Nobody feels that way. They're quite courageous. They're living their truth.
I think that women respect men being honest through vulnerability is something they value higher than them showing their emotions all the time. And that's the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of you going to someone else to confide in them how you really feel, you showing the person that you love and care about, and you decided to make a commitment to somebody who said that you probably said you love with all your heart. So that's what they're gonna respect more over than you just saying, my mother never got me that Ghostbusters toy when I was 12 and it really hurts. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I've got a couple of comments here from Audrey. She's on form today.
Yeah. I could only be in trouble.
She says,
man.
I agree with Roxy. We have more power, the power to support an emotional man, crying at the drop of a hat, but when he must be able to openly show emotion, to realize that tension or stress, to release, I think, that tension or stress. But after the crying, what's the plan?
See, so the man's crying, and already you're thinking, basically, suck it up, and what are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do next? Let the man cry. Let the man shed his tears.
Yeah, but as she said, after you shed the tears, what happens next?
I know. What does a woman do after she's finished crying? What she do?
we dry up our tears, and then we get the job done. Whatever the problem is.
Well, that's what a man would do. That's what we would do.
Yeah. But once she's ready, and then you can't put a time cap on when she's ready. She's gonna say when she's ready.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Let the man cry when he's finished grieving.
Mm-hmm.
He will put things together.
Yeah. I cried when my dog died 4 years ago. So, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I did, for sure. We had him for 10 years.
Right?
We had him for 10 years. He was my daughter and I both did. Like, it was both of our best friend. Like, it was sad. So, yeah.
Nah, I can't even knock that, because I've seen your brother when his dog died.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So we've never had a dog, but you cried when the cat died as well.
Yeah, I did.
You got any cats?
But I'm a woman.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're allowed to.
We had a cat. We had a cat for a while, but when my son moved out, he took her with him. So, yeah.
Did you cry?
No. That cat was annoying and fat. God, that cat was huge. That cat was huge. We have a small dog, and she weighed more than that dog does. So yeah,
you can't feed cats brisket though and smoked barbecue, Joey.
I understand
like,
that. I understand that.
But you did it anyway.
No, she ate cat. She ate cat food. She just ate all the time. So
No, because you guys gave it to her.
Yeah, I say, yeah.
No, I didn't give it to her. No, that was my son. But I think also there's a lot of, I think cats do a lot of other, if they go outside or whatever, they'll eat mice. Cats will eat damn near anything. And if you leave it out, they're going to eat it as well. And you know how it is with kids. There'd be a bowl of cereal out on the counter or something like that. The cat's going to find it when nobody's around. So
you should have took it to get some therapy. It obviously had some gorging problems, and the
Some
cat
people
didn't
say
know how to deal with it.
That's the beauty of cats, that they to some extent at least are self-sufficient. The problems people say is that with a dog, it's almost like having another child. They just can't do nothing for themselves. And that's the problem.
I've got another couple of comments from Audrey. She says, Big T, I dated a man who held it in, took me on holiday and let it out by crying on my holiday.
So that statement, I like most of what Audrey's saying, but in that statement, it says he took her on holiday, and then she says crying on her holiday. It sounds to me.
I guess it was still her holiday.
He's crying on. Did he pay for the holiday? If he paid for the holiday, he's more than entitled to cry on it if he'd like to.
Oh man, this could be a long one.
Well, I'm just
maybe the love making was so good he had to let it out. Unfortunately, it was on top of her. So
now that's a bad time to let it out.
No, I'm
about to say that's another question.
That is a no.
That's what I say. If you're crying during sex, there's some trauma somewhere in your past life.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just that good.
Maybe
it's his eyes.
I don't know about that.
Audrey says, Joey, you cried, you felt pain and released the pain. Your plan after was the burial. You had a plan. Sorry for your loss.
Actually, it's not a burial. That dog's ashes is sitting on the record player in my living room right now. with this dog collar and a picture of him, because that's what the kids wanted to do. They wanted to cremate him and bring him home. So yeah, it's an interesting thing because I love that. I love my Great Dane that I've got now more, just so much. But that dog, though, if I thought about him for too long right now, I'd damn near start crying again. Like, he was just the best dog. He was just the best and smartest thing. Like, he was just great. So anyway,
are you gonna
is that okay if Joey thinks about his dog and cries? Is that okay?
No, I was just thinking that, Joey, you're too much.
Think about it, Joey. Think about
I didn't say I would cry. I think I said I would tear up.
That works for me, man. I want to see that. Can you zoom in? That worked for me, man.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, that it's the best. He was the best. So yeah. So, but really, so if we start talking about my dog and I cried right now, you wouldn't respect me anymore? Is that what you're saying?
Woo! Yeah, not for
right in the morning.
not for a dog.
Not for a dog.
Maybe because.
No, I think for me, I think a dog is. Yeah, I think
man's best friend.
It's a life. And I know that people can bond strongly with a dog. So for me, that I understand. And if I had a dog and I'd bonded with that dog and that dog passed, I think I'd cry and I'd feel no way what you thought.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I had to go pump my gas by myself, because every time I filled my tank up, I felt like crying. Like, that's crazy.
Sure.
I love it. Nice one. All right. So
I was going to say, Audrey's come back to Joey's question. She says, Joey, he paid for the incidentals. If he paid for the flight, regards holiday. Not quite. Joey, he paid for the incidentals. If paid for the flight, regards holiday.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It almost sounds like she paid for the flight and he paid for everything else. But I don't know.
I think that's meant to be saying, is it saying regardless? Is it regardless? Mentioning regardless. I think, but basically, I think the point is, someone took her on holiday and spoiled the holiday. I think that's really what she's saying.
Mhm.
Someone took her on holiday and spoiled the holiday.
What was the next one saying?
Well, the one that Roxanne just read.
No.
No,
There's one
it
about
says regarding crying. I
during
guess it's supposed to be
sex.
during sex. Unless you are calling out my name through through your tears, it's not acceptable. Wow.
Regarding who cried out.
Yeah. So if you're crying, if you're crying, so you just so let me imitate Audrey. So, just love you so much, Audrey.
I want to hear this.
Just snotting all over the place.
Followed by snoring.
Joe,
That's right, just snotting all over the place. That gives
Joey, it sounds like you've been there, man. What's going on?
I just know what it sounds like when kids cry. And if you're crying during sex, you're probably a kid.
I've made a woman cry during sex.
We're not talking about women crying during sex. Big T, don't incriminate yourself.
No,
we're talking about men crying during sex.
No, like like it scared me afterwards. Like that, like I thought I did
You
something
should
wrong.
be scared.
And then she said, I'm sorry, I got overwhelmed. And I was just like, because it wasn't my intention to give her that. So you know how those situations go.
I do not know how those situations go.
I think Jerry calls that humble bragging.
I was going to say I do not understand how those situations go, and do not bring me into any crimes that may be committed. I do not understand that at all.
I was speaking to the audience. That's what I was saying.
So someone else says,
were the handcuffs too tight?
This one's from Soul TV. Were the handcuffs on too tight? that's the big T.
Depends on who they were on, but no. Should be known as the big G spot. Oh man. So our overall consensus is women do respect men who show their emotions, just as long as they don't show it too much. I mean, that's what I'm getting from everybody, right?
I mean, to an extent, I think it depends on why they're showing emotions and which emotion it is. And Andre and Roxanne, you guys are frozen. I don't know if you're having an issue, so let's take them off screen for a moment until they get squared away. But
okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's to an extent. I think, like we said earlier, it's a fine line for sure. I mean, if you're crying constantly over every little thing because the rainbow in the sky is just so pretty, then that's probably a little much. Although my wife and daughter both said no. Said it they did say, if you're being overly dramatic about something, then it's not even as much a loss of respect. It's just more it's more of a like you're being ridiculous thing. Like being upset about it's ridiculous. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, get it in check. And to reply to Audrey's comment, anything worth doing is worth doing well.
And Soul TV says, how about movies? Crying to your movies? I think it depends on the movie. I mean, I cried during Top Gun every time. So no, I'm just kidding.
I haven't watched it, and I got to watch the first one before I can watch the second one.
You haven't seen the first Top Gun movie?
Like I could remember clips. Like I know about like a couple of characters, but I never seen the movie. The closest I've seen to that is what was it? Is it Hot Guns with Charlie Sheen?
Hot Shots.
Yeah, I seen that. You know what I'm saying? So that's like the closest I've seen to actually seeing that movie.
When were you born?
I was born in 85. Put it this way. I saw Red Dawn for the first time like 4 years ago.
Wow.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So like I saw the sequel before I saw the original.
Huh.
So you know what I mean? I didn't see movies in a sequential order because I was a kid, you know,
Yeah, sure.
I was young. But yeah. So no Andre, no Roxanne, what's going
No,
on?
not yet. No, I don't know. But if they pop back up, we'll let them back on. So it's
Well-
regardless, it's time for break anyway. So
Oh yeah, so hopefully they'll come back in during the break. And
yeah, we'll
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 be
take-
back, everybody, after this.
Yep.
Welcome to Soul TV, and we are now streaming live on Television 2.0. We will provide new TV shows such as documentaries, reality TV shows, talk shows, cookery programs, music shows, concerts, red carpets, and more events, and a whole lot more. If you would like to find out more or run your own stream television channel, check us out on the website. All right, that's www.stream.com. Again, that's www.stream.com. Soul TV on Stream Television 2.0. It's the station that gives you more.
It's the Indiana's music video show, playing all the best soul music videos, and it's better than the radio. So sit back and enjoy the show. It's the Indiana's music video show, playing all the best soul music videos, and it's better than the radio. So sit back and enjoy the show.
Keep it grown, it's sexy. We ain't playing no games. Tell me what's your love language. You can fill in the blanks. Touch me, tease me. No, my name is not Case. Indie artist music video show. Let's watch it at my place.
It's the Indiana's music.
All right, so we are back now.
All right. Looks like Andre and Roxanne will be dealing with some technical issues. So
Yeah.
we're gonna hold it down until they get back. But I mean, either way, let's jump right back into our second topic. And for that, we gotta ask the question. Is sex on the first date a bad thing? And for me, it's not a bad thing if you're two respectable adults who obviously have a healthy attraction for each other and felt that strongly to, get it on that first night. I mean, obviously it's quick, and depending on how many conversations you had prior to that, I mean, long as you're not going in raw or anything, it's presumably safe. But a lot of people are down talked or looked at as trashy or a hoe or whatever if they decide to do that. But I guess it's different for men than it is women, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's I mean, I obviously I don't know what it's like to be out there dating. I mean, I've been married since I was 18 years old, so but I do know at least a couple of guys that have been like, if a girl will sleep with them on a first date, then they're not they're not relationship material. It's kind of the thing that I've heard a lot of them say. So I don't, again, I don't know what what it's like to be dating, but I think it should be kind of a red flag for anybody, whether it's male or female. If you're willing to sleep with somebody on the first date, oh man, I don't know. That just feels like, I don't know.
Do you think age comes into question when that happens? Like, let's say you're in your 20s opposed to when you're in your like mid to late 30s.
Maybe a little bit, I guess. I mean, because if if something happened, my wife and I weren't together, I'm not gonna say I wouldn't sleep with somebody on the first date, but I can't say I would either. So I don't know. I don't know. You're out there, you're dating. Do you think it's a relationship no? Do you think, I mean, if someone sleeps with you on the first date, are you willing to continue a relationship with them, or is that strictly as far as it's going to go?
Why'd you have to say I'm out there? Maybe I just can't just be just being me, Maybe
Well,
I'm
I'm just
celibate, Joey.
No, I'm just saying that you're dating, I guess is what I should say. You're dating, so
Mm-hmm.
that's all I'm saying.
When I was younger, I was all for it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like I guess a goal or whatever as a guy. Get to have sex with who I want, when I want, whenever, and if that happens on the first date, and I don't necessarily have to be in a committed relationship, it's like, hey, that's the life. You know what I mean? But as you get older, you learn that that's not safe all the times, and
Sure.
it's irresponsible. You could put yourself in a situation that you end up falling for a girl like that, or she ended up being crazy. So you gotta think with your big head and not your other big head, so you don't put yourself in that situation. So I mean, as of now, no, I'm not. I'm not that type of person that's going to jump into bed with you on the first night. So maturity makes a difference in those decisions.
So what was the initial question? Is sex on the first date a bad thing? Is that how you asked the question? What was the actual question?
Yeah, that was the question.
So what was the answer? I mean, again, that's that's a yes or no. What was your answer?
Oh, I mean, for me, it's not a bad thing if if you if the both of you felt that strongly about each other, and were responsible about it, then yeah. But
Well, obviously, first date, I'm assuming you're not going to feel the feelings aren't going to be that strong for each other on the first date.
no, I said the emotions are strong enough. The feelings, it depends, because sometimes women don't they can give a guy their number or whatever, or they exchange numbers, and they go out within the same week. Lately, at least in my experience, I've gotten to know a woman for a couple of weeks before we went out. You know what I mean? So because of my experience, if I jump out there with her, I don't know who she is. I don't know what she's capable of. Is she going to drug me or follow me home or something like that, or vice versa? You know what I'm saying? So you got to get to know somebody before you even sit across from them, because you never know what they've been through or how they handle certain situations. So it's more of a safety precaution, and just a more adult way of dealing with things.
Big T, can I ask, if you were to sleep with someone on the first date, would you consider her as marriage material? Would you want to continue a long-term relationship, or does that not bother you?
It depends on how good it is. It depends on if either of you are crying or not.
Yeah, to answer your question, yes, I would. Yeah, I would consider the marriage material.
All right. Okay. Well, I think I'm old school on that front.
Oh,
yeah. Sorry. Hell no. Hell no.
I'm just joking, Roxanne. Just take it easy.
On the first date.
Just take it easy.
I'm putting it out there. We did not. Because my answer to this question would have been, if it's my daughter, then no, I wouldn't like to know that my daughter slept with a guy on first date, because I think I'm old school.
Andre, how do you feel about that? How would you feel about your daughter sleeping with somebody on the first date?
I don't want to talk about it. Hey, what kind of question are you asking me, man?
All right, fine. How would you? What about?
No, I wouldn't. Truth is, no, I wouldn't. But at the same time, she's a grown-ass woman now. So if she did, I'm not even sure I'd be cut up about it. I just if you're asking me, then yes, I would have thought. And from what I know of her, nah, who knows? It doesn't appear to be the sort of thing that she would do. But the truth is, the reality is, I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know. And I don't think I'd really lose any sleep over it.
What about you if it was your son, Roxanne?
Go on, my son. Go
Yeah,
on.
see, yeah.
No, I wouldn't. No.
But Roxanne, what about you with your son? You're
Yeah,
okay with that?
unfortunately, yeah. If it's my boy, then yeah, it's a case of
Do what you gotta do, son.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
I know. That's how it is. I have got that old school mentality. Yeah, boys are supposed to go out there and do what they're going to do before they find the girl they want to settle down with. But a girl is supposed to save that for her person that she wants to
Husband.
settle down with or marry. So yeah.
How do you know if you want to settle down or marry him until you sleep with him?
Well, it's not all about sex.
It's not. I didn't say it's all about sex, but that is part of it.
Yeah,
Right.
it is part of it, but
Well, I'm assuming when we got together, you didn't know for sure that I was going to be long term.
yeah, but we did not sleep on the first date. We did not sleep on the first date.
First, second, it's all the same.
No,
Yeah,
not-
no one's saying anything about no one's talking about sleeping at all. So
Oh!
Yeah.
we did not have sex on the first date.
Monica.
Monica.
Lewinsky.
Joey, you asked those questions of Andre. How about you? How about your kids? How would you feel if your son or your daughter, slept with somebody on that first date?
I wouldn't know. Like they wouldn't tell me, but I mean, it is what it is. Like I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But I mean, my daughter's boyfriend stays here at my house in her little apartment damn near every night. And am I really that naive as to think nothing's going on? So I mean,
How old is he or how old is she?
they're both 21.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I think
I wouldn't like it, but I wouldn't, like Andre said, I wouldn't lose sleep over it.
so. I think. Oh, go ahead, Roxanne.
From Soul TV. They say depends on her credit score. So we're not going to speak.
You're really digging deep if you're getting a credit score on the first date,
You control your emotions.
Andre.
Is this? Oh, is it Andre?
Andrea.
Yeah.
You'd control your emotions, Andre. I'm not certain what's that in relation.
I think
to.
it's talking about one of your kids sleeping with somebody on the first date.
All right. Oh, see. Oh, of
Yeah.
course. Well, the same with very good Soul TV. Very good. Very good. Very good.
So when you think about the question, I think a lot of people frame it around your initial first meeting with somebody, like, you met them at a grocery store, gym, or at a bar or something, and you guys go out a week later and then you sleep with each other. But I mean, there's situations where, let's say, you meet a girl and she's got a boyfriend and you guys, stayed in touch, and you obviously were attracted to each other, and then you went out, one time, and then the magic happened. So it's a lot of variables with that question, but if a guy does it like you guys framed it, it's him sowing his royal oats. But if a girl does it, she's giving herself away too fast. So I guess it all depends on your view of dating and sex, how you're gonna answer that question. So like I said, for me it's different, for Andre it's different, so it all depends on the person. I personally just don't think it's bad if you're doing it correctly. And I'm not just talking about sex, I'm talking about, how you approach the situation.
All right. So look, it says here, I used to feel negatively about having sex on the first date because I thought it would set the tone for what I was looking for in a relationship. However, as I've gone on more and more first dates, I've realized that if someone wouldn't consider me girlfriend material after we had sex on the first date, that's not someone I want to date in the first place. Elaine. So basically, she's saying, yeah, she doesn't see anything wrong with having sex on the first date. If someone is going to judge her for it, that's not the sort of man she wants anyway. Has she got a point? Or is she just a little
Yeah.
hoe?
Sorry, Elaine. Yeah, you're the latter in my eyes.
So I have a poll here.
It's a poem.
It's a poll, like I don't know, a survey, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So it is it was a sex survey, but it said among the results, let's see here, 29% have had sex on a first date, and about as many have had an unexpected sexual encounter with someone new. 15% of men and 3 in 10 single men age 30 and older have paid for sex. So anyway, that's getting into more parts of the survey, but yeah, so 29% of people have had sex on a first date. I'm trying to find how many people they surveyed, but I don't see that anywhere.
I've got something similar as well. It says here, if you want a serious relationship, sex on the first date is crucial, according to new research. You listening? More than a third of men found love after sleeping with their partner on the first date. It has led to a proper relationship for 36% of women and 34% of men. Studies conducted by illicitencounters.com.
So they're saying that these guys didn't love these girls before they had sex with them. It was the sex that caused them to fall in love.
I'm not sure they're saying it's the sex that caused them to fall in love, but maybe it's an indication that sex on the first date isn't as problematic as we may be insinuating.
No, as Joey said,
I guess
these
it's
guys love the sex, and they just want to keep the girl for that.
Can love grow out of sex?
Can love grow out of sex? I don't know. I guess if you're around anyone long enough, maybe you could fall for them. So if you're staying with them for the sex, you're gonna be around them more. I guess maybe there's a correlation, but I don't know.
No, for me,
Yeah,
I have deep feelings and love you, and then that makes the sex better.
Yeah, that's a woman's. What you T? Because Mr. Lover.
can love come out of sex? I think more infatuation than anything, because they become dependent on that emotion that they get from the sex and not from the person. I mean, you can get that same thing from a airplane these days or a certain toy, you know what I mean? So it all depends. Like I don't think that is necessarily love. I think that's more just raw pleasure, if anything else. So no, not really, because there are a lot of people, that just want sex and nothing else, whether they don't like attachments or don't like showing emotions or, being responsible of someone else's heart, either way, sex isn't enough to just grow love. It takes more of a commitment and more than just, physical pleasure.
Yes, of course. Yeah. I guess the question was, could that physical pleasure lead to more than that, i.e., love? But that was what I was trying to ask. But
now, that dopamine that's released from her brain can make her think she's in love, but doesn't necessarily mean that it is love. It's just a euphoric bliss that you receive from that, post nut clarity, basically.
Let's see here. I've got another survey here that says 39,000 Brits were asked, when dating someone new that you liked, generally speaking, how many dates would you want to wait before having sex with them? Results were 28% of men said they would sleep with someone the first time they meet, but only 7% of women would do the same. Let's see here, but let's see. Women responded they were more likely to wait until they had fallen in love before getting intimate, but men aged 35 to 44 were the most eager of the bunch, with 35% of them saying they'd be down for action on the first date. And then women are much more likely to put out at an earlier stage. Age group of women most likely to want sex on the first date goes to those aged 18 to 24, with 14% of them in the poll. So
Yeah, I agree with that because
younger women and older men.
Yeah.
in my experience, when I was younger, I met a lot of reserved girls who would, implement like a 6-date rule or 90-day rule or whatever, and it was different. And I got a little older. I met a woman in her 40s who literally cut me off mid conversation and
It's like a
says, "Look,
6-minute rule or 9-minute rule."
6-inch rule.
She said, in her own words, I don't have time for all the get to know you stuff. I stay around the corner. And what's your plans for the rest of the evening? I said, check, please. You know what I mean? So that's a person who knows what they want and has been through the whole rigmarole of getting to know you and getting the basics out the way and establishing something. But she's probably been there, or she just wanted to have sex, and that's okay. Like, some people go on dates, and it's bad to say, but some people go on dates just because they don't want to be by themselves. Some people go on dates because they're hungry. Some people go on dates just to have sex. So it all depends on what's your goal and whether you be honest about that with that person.
For sure.
But you would consider her, would you consider her marriage material?
Good question.
Are you talking about that lady?
Yes.
Oh no. That she was a cougar for sure. And at that time, I wasn't looking to be locked down. So we both got what we wanted that night. So
Sure. To me, someone that said something like that on the first date, that would be hard for me to ever look at them as someone I would be willing to marry, because then there's the question, like, how many people are they saying that to?
Right. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, what time was your date? If your date was at 6 or 7, then fine, you're probably the first one that night. But if it was at 9 or 10, you might be number 2 or 3. So that's right.
I met her when I was doing security at a bar, and I used to always compliment her on her figure. And then one day she asked me, did you want to hang out? And I was like, yeah. So I knew that there was a 50-50 chance of what was going to end up happening eventually. The fact that it happened that night was an unexpected surprise, but I knew what it was. You know what I'm saying? She was divorced. Her kids were out of the house, and she was doing her thing. So, whether marriage came up on that, if it came for me or came for her, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have, went the way either one of us had planned, because it wasn't our initial, tone of conversation. We was always like light, flirty type conversations, real cordial. So nothing really in depth. You know what I mean?
It does make me wonder what the scenario could be where you would have sex with someone on the first date and still deem them marriage material. Because you said earlier on that, yes, if you had sex with someone on the first date, they could still be marriage material.
Yeah. So like I said, it depends on what went into going into that first date, because like I said, it could be a scenario where you guys were friends, and then somebody decided to try the hand and ask the other one out. You know what I mean? Or if you got to know each other for like a nice time period, like let's say a month before you guys actually went out on the first date. Like, you know what I mean? Because like a date and hanging out or, just phone conversations is two different things. So,
So when
that's
you
like
met
part.
on the first date, standard first date, you'd met someone for the first time, and for whatever reason, you're able and you
You,
sleep with that person. Could that woman?
you mean a blind date?
I guess could you call it a blind date?
A Tinder date.
Or
Yeah,
you mean like you met somebody at a bar, you struck up
yeah,
a
yeah,
conversation, and now
a
you
blind date,
guys.
yeah, exactly.
Well, that depends on how lucky you feel, because you're taking a chance with just some random person. They could be the seaside strangler. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, you say that,
anything
but
can
if
happen.
you meet some person, or you chat to someone over the phone or over the Zoom or whatever for 3 months or whatever, and then you meet with them, they could be the seaside strangler too. Just because you met somebody remotely and you've had a few conversations with them, I don't think that really exempts them from being anything more than what they want you to think that they are. Just like on the
Yeah,
first
but
meet.
I mean, those are the people who are like blinded by a certain scenario. I'm not going to be a fool and assume that, the reason that we only talking virtually is because, a condition. I'm gonna put you in a situation where we meet face to face before, we do anything else. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's just me. I can't speak for everybody else because I've been there before. I've been catfish more times than I can, honestly admit. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, are there other things besides sex that you shouldn't do on the first date,
I
Roxanne?
mean,
Um, for me, I wouldn't like going on first date. I think no. If you, okay, I was going to say pay. I would help pay a bill, but if you've asked me out, then I guess expect you to. But yeah, I don't think I would leave a guy to pay the whole bill
so
on the
that
first.
so you took the question right from that I was fixing to ask, because I was going to say, women, if you go on a first date, and a man doesn't at least offer to pay for the meal, is that a no? Is that a deal breaker? Is that a whatever you want to call it? Does that mean he's not marriage material? Even if you don't let him pay, if he doesn't at least offer?
Yes, I do like him to offer. Yes, that's correct. I would like him to offer. If he didn't, I think it'd be a bit mean. But I wouldn't expect him to pay for the whole meal. We'd go Dutch.
So, if he didn't
Yeah,
offer,
no.
would he get a second date?
Well, yeah, if I liked him, yeah.
Okay.
If I liked him, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
But
So
that would go into the negative column, right?
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many negatives.
Gotcha.
so tradition dictates that the men should always pay for the date, right?
Hmm.
Sure.
Okay. So nowadays, I guess you hear about it more than anything. Like whoever asks the other on the date should pay. Like, I mean, that's like a general consensus these days. Like, if I ask you out, of course, I'm not going to sit there at the end of the meal and be like, "Well, I'll go to the bathroom while you take care of this." You know what I mean? Like, that's just a rule of thumb. You know what I mean? So going Dutch, yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that. On the first date or whatever, especially if I'm still not too certain about the other person. You know what I mean? Like if they were kind of like vague or I got a, like an odd sense from them something, then yeah. But I wouldn't mind still paying, you know what I mean? Especially if, I invite you out or I agreed to go out with you and I enjoy my time. Like, I guess that's just courtesy or whatever.
So, what if they invited you out? Would you still pay?
I've actually done that before, but then they'll turn around and take care of it the next time, So that's just the chivalrous side of me. I'm always this person that like kind of handles things like that.
Okay.
Deborah Reed says, I agree. I think it's the vibe and conversation on the first date. I don't know what she is.
Yeah. Okay. So
she also says, I think there should be conversation prior to going on a date. Oh, so this Big T's comment.
Yeah, that's a strange one to talk. You're saying, hey, you want to go out to dinner this week, and then the person says yes, and you're like, all right, so how are we gonna do this pay thing? Like that feels strange. That feels so weird.
Yeah, I've never had a conversation as to who's paying on a date. Like I mean, not that it's always on the guy, but I mean, typically that's what's going to happen. Or, if you're an adult, you can say, hey, I got it this time or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it honestly depends on, I think, the age and the maturity of the person.
Yeah, I've heard it said before that if the man's paying, then the woman has to be careful what she orders, because if she orders too much, then she's going to have to put out for sure.
Yeah, that'll be my next question. How much does the bill have to be before you can expect some sort of repayment?
If she's ordering surf and turf, then she probably has to put
out. To go back to your question, Andre, something not to do on the first date. I guess discuss all of your past. Like if you got like a bunch of crazy ex stories or something like that, like you can divulge some, but you can't just unload everything out of your cart on somebody on the first date. That'll scare them off.
Yeah, I've got a list of a few things here, and that's actually one of them. Don't be late is one.
Why do you go there?
No, I'm just.
Why do you go there?
To be on time.
So don't be late. Be on time for the date. But there's no such thing as fashionably late. You want the guy. You want the other person. Well, no, you don't want the woman to go through this. But if you're a woman, you want to be just late enough that the guy is excited to see you there, but not so late that he's annoyed. Or
so an hour would be too much, there, wouldn't it?
God.
Would an hour be too much?
Would an hour be an hour? Yeah, for sure, hour would be too much. You want to be about. I think between 5 and 10 minutes is a sweet spot.
5 and 10 minutes.
5 and 10 minutes is a sweet spot, I think, for me anyway. Because I also don't like to be hassled. Like I hate inconvenience. So that's
don't be late without a call. Don't just show up and be like, sorry, I was late. Like, okay, that's not how we do.
Yeah, shoot a text message or something. It's like, hey, running a couple minutes behind. But still, I mean, you want the guy to almost think, what if she's not coming? And then when you show up, and then he's like, yes, that's the reaction you want. Not, if he looks at his if he looks at his watch and says, look, I've already eaten, I got to go, then it's too late.
And here's the bill.
Yeah.
So what else has it got on the list? It says here, no lying. I mean, come on, isn't that something that a lot of people are doing, bigging up themselves on the first date?
Yeah.
No lying. Don't get too personal. Yeah.
No lying. I mean, what do you consider lying? Like, what if you're just hiding something?
If you've got,
all right. So wait a minute. Let's go. Well, if we'll go to Big T's experience with a woman with no legs. Is that lying?
Lying by omission.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of lying by omission. She omitted her legs.
She omitted certain facts.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Is that considered lying? And is it okay to withhold that information on the first date? Or do you wait to get back to their place and then you go, oh, by the way, can you help me get my leg off?
Because you playing a gamble that person's going to, throw a word to the wayside, that you hide things like that, or they're just going to say, "Oh, we're already here, so it is what it is." You know what I
Well,
mean?
that's
So
exactly what happened. I mean, the gamble was that if you were past the point of no return, then everything would be good. And if you guys are in bed and then you're hearing that sound, that snapping sound, yeah, I guess you're past the point of no return. So shrewd, mate, shrewd.
Big T's laying in bed, and all of a sudden you're.
Started without me.
I mean, it could have been her. It could have been her teeth. You know what I mean? So either way,
Oh, that's rough. I think I'd rather it be the leg than the teeth.
I don't know.
now,
Oh,
Joey,
that's rough. I
until
know
you
what you're gonna
experienced
say.
it,
I know what you're gonna say. I don't care. I don't care. I'll put it to you this way: if you take your teeth out, you're not gonna be on my Instagram. So
Yeah, but it could be somewhere else.
well,
Yeah.
no, thank you. No, thank you.
I don't put the women of my life on social media, so it really doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's not for the world to know.
Has that ever been a problem? Has any of those women ever said, like, why don't you ever have pictures of me on there?
Only one.
And what did you say? Because it's not your Instagram?
I said, is it because of the amount of followers I had? I said, do you really want that much attention? So it was on
Did she
on her.
say, yes, I do?
Yeah, exactly. As I'm saying, what kind of that's an easy question, isn't it?
Yeah, so that means she wants attention from everyone else and not the person it should matter to. That's not the type of person I want to be around. You know what I mean?
Ladies and gentlemen, write down your notes because this is gaslighting 101. This is it right here.
So other things you shouldn't do on the first date. What about drink too much?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh man.
Unless you know they don't have no teeth and you got to get drunk so you don't think about it.
Nah, that's not true.
What's not
Go
true?
ahead, Roxanne.
I was gonna say, doesn't drinking bring out the truthfulness?
It does. I wholeheartedly agree with that. If you'll say it when you're drunk, then you think it when you're sober.
Okay, but what if that person's a lush and they can handle the alcohol? They just like being drunk. Like
Sure.
I've had some sloppy dates before, and it's just a headache. Like I didn't come here to babysit somebody. I came here to enjoy an evening with
Sure, but if they
somebody.
can handle their alcohol, then they haven't drank too much. Like if they can handle it, they're not drinking too much. Too much, to me, too much implies they're drunk, they're wasted, they're slurring their words, can't walk straight or whatever. Typical drunk things.
For sure.
Yeah, but all right. So even still, if you can handle your alcohol, you're still drunk. So that means you can't drive. You know what I'm saying? No matter how good you think you are, you're gonna possibly forget things, or you have a personality that you have when you're that intoxicated that comes out that could be obnoxious or annoying or something like that, or too
So you're
rough.
gonna judge
Like,
them without waiting to see them. Is what you're saying?
you say what?
You're gonna judge them without because you're saying they could have. So you're saying if they're drinking too much, then you're gonna have these preconceived ideas rather than wait for them to show it. So
You won't know.
like,
You won't know until it's over, though. I'm saying I'm speaking from experience because if you're drunk, you're not exactly in your in your right mind. You know what I mean? So just because you remember certain details doesn't mean you remember everything. So I'm not saying that I'm going to assume it. I'm going to figure it out later on. You know what I mean? So especially if if I'm asking general things and you don't respond accordingly, or I just get the the feeling that maybe I should wait until you're sober to pursue anything else, then I'm that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna back off.
all right. So I guess you're saying then. So is it a point then? It's not really how much they drink. It's just if you think that they're now starting to act in a way that shows that they've been drinking. So if they're drinking a lot, but you can't see any changes in how they're behaving or and they appear to be talking okay, is that okay? They look like they're drinking a lot for a woman. if I can say that.
Well, listen, say yes.
Yeah, no,
Promise,
yeah, because I'm assuming on the whole, men can probably consume more alcohol than women if he's a bigger person. My point is that yes, my point. Let's take the question. I guess if she's drinking a lot but she appears to be okay, is that all right? I'm just trying to understand what you mean by drinking too much, or if she drinks 5 or 6 shots or something, you think no, that's too much.
I don't know because I know some girls that drink like fish. You know what I mean? I also went out with a girl who tried to match me drink for drink, and everything was good until we got back to my place, and then she threw up. So I was just like, okay.
So did you feel that you were partly to blame for that? Did you feel you were partly to blame for that?
No, because I told her, I said, I think I made a joke about her babysitting a drink, and she was like, "Oh no, I can match you drink for drink," and I said, "You don't have to." But then she took it upon her, like ego came into play, and she was like, "Okay, whatever, whenever you get a drink, I'll get a drink," and I said, "That's fine." And then we were on the couch, and then next thing you know, mid conversation, she hit the and I was like, "Yep, here it comes." You know what I mean? So. It's just like next time I'll just keep it to myself instead of challenging someone's ego.
Sure.
Did she get a second date?
Yeah, but
Oh.
that one little incident didn't outshine her good qualities. So that's just a funny story that we tell from time to time.
Okay, so she obviously got quite a few dates after that. All right, what other it's got here things you should not do. Never show up without bathing.
Oh
In
yeah.
the bath.
Yeah.
I guess that's pretty standard.
Yeah.
What about don't be
so
sorry, go ahead.
that's how sex doesn't happen on the first night. Once
For
you
sure.
once you find out that it's not clean, it's time to go.
Yeah.
You proceed. That
For
says
sure.
more about you than her.
Yeah.
Don't be constantly on the phone or distracted. What about that?
No, I wholeheartily agree with that.
DJ would, yeah. I think I've
Yeah.
mentioned it before.
Yeah, put it on silent and face down.
All right, so you've actually taken the phone out though. You've actually taken the phone out and put it on the table. Couldn't just keep it in your pocket with a phone out. No.
No, because I've dated women who were single mothers, so gotta check. But if you like talking on the phone and eating at the same time, it's like, all right, yeah, not marriage material. You know what I mean? It's just yeah, that's a show of sign of how much they respect you or how boring you are to them or whatever.
Yeah, distracted. And of course, the last one, don't fart.
Oh hell no.
It's there. I didn't know that it's there. But interestingly, don't have sex. That wasn't on the list. Interestingly.
Yeah, really.
So I got a question for the ladies. How long do you wait before you pass gas in front of your man?
Before what?
Yeah, I think
Before you pass gas in front of your man.
Oh. Anytime from the second day, I guess.
Second day?
Really?
We haven't even had sex yet. I mean, that can't happen before we've had sex. That can't happen before we've had sex. That's the answer. So 3 days.
I'd say like
Physical violence.
I think for me, like when I started dating you, it was a case of, I guess you've got this whole persona. I'm a woman, lady. Basically, yeah, it would have been months. It would have been a few dates. It's not something I would have done on the first day, the second day. I think maybe when we're living together. So I wouldn't have done that. I definitely wouldn't have done it because
man.
Yeah, as far as I was concerned, I wanted you to think that I was a princess. Like I don't do that kind of thing. So yeah, it would have been months. It would have been months, I think. when we started living together. Yeah, that's my answer to that one.
So, what's your answer then, T? How long do you wait in a relationship, or don't you? I don't know.
Well, of course after sex, but I don't know.
What do you mean, of course, after sex?
Yeah, like you don't like you can't you can't divulge that side of you on purpose without someone actually respecting and having strong feelings for you, because they're gonna consider it to be rude or whatever, you know what I mean? So once you accepted someone's faults and all that, then everything else doesn't matter, you know what I mean? Because we're all human, we all have you know
Yeah, but that wasn't your
past
first
and stuff
answer. Your
like that.
first answer was after sex.
No, I was saying like it
What's
wouldn't.
the rest of the answer now?
I'm not saying like directly after sex. I'm saying like it would have to be after we had sex initially. You know what I mean? Like so like um because I think men and women can be very judgy. You know what I mean? Like if a girl slipped up, depending on how much I liked her, I'll let it go. But if she just was like tooting all the time, I'm just like, either you need to change your diet or you need to, go on the balcony or something, because that's not right. You know what I mean?
So does it make a difference if it smells? Does it make a difference?
I mean, of course, if she's like airing out the room, that's gonna be a problem.
So judgmental. Joey, does it make a difference to you as well?
No, I don't think it makes a difference. I mean, I don't think so. I think if you're doing it out loud, especially, we hadn't been dating long, that's gonna be rough.
Which is worse, the silent one that's smelly or one that makes it tilt to the side?
So I think, well, it's strange because a loud one where you just lean to the side and do it, it's like that is so much audacity to just do that early on in a relationship. But if it's going to be silent and it's going to smell really bad, you better own it, because if you better own it, like, especially, don't blame, you better not be blaming it on my dog or anything like that. As soon as you can take, if you just let one creep out, just trying to be quiet, and you're just trying to be quiet, so I don't hear you or whatever. As soon as you smell something, you need to go, hey, just so you know, that's me. But you have to try to.
Is it a deal breaker? Try to blame the dog then.
I don't know. Maybe not. I'm not going to be happy about it. But I'm just saying, like, be funny about it. Like, just like, hey, just so you know, that's me, and that's what you get if you decide you want to be with me. Like, you just got to be funny about it, and it's fine. Like, everybody in my family, I say everybody in my family, like, all of us here, like, we all was just there's. We don't hold anything back at my house. Like, we're just, we'll serve up a nice cup of fart and everything like that here if you're not careful.
So,
do y'all know what cup of fart is in the UK?
What fart? Kappa?
It's called cup of fart.
No. I don't think you go and get a cup and poop it and then hand it over to somebody.
No. It's just,
have some of that. Drink from this cup, mate.
This coffee smells awful. No. You just, if you're sitting down or whatever, you just like fart into your hand and then just right up into their face with it.
I was like, God of mercy. I think the cup one is better, mate.
Cup of fart.
Man.
Hey, Joey, I want to politely decline any invitations to any barbecues you have at the house right now.
Oh, for goodness sake, man.
So actually, I was dating this girl years ago, and we were sitting on the couch watching a movie, and she was just like real quiet for most of the night, and she was leaving. I gave her a hug, and I guess it was like too tight,
Oh.
and she let out this, and I looked at her.
Oh, that's violent.
And you what? And you what?
I looked at her, and she covered her mouth, and we both bust out laughing. We laughed uncontrollably for like 5 minutes, and she was like, "I was holding that in all night. I'm so sorry." I was like, "It's okay, it's okay." But I
But of
just
course, the
like,
big question: did it smell?
well,
Yeah.
she was
You could
her,
wrap
her
up with
butt was facing
inhaling it all in.
her butt was facing the hallway, so it didn't come into my apartment. So if
Slap the
it
door shut
did,
quick.
yeah, if it did, I didn't catch it. You know what I mean? But you know, I
Young
mean,
love.
girls fart can stink too. You know what I mean? So it
Reed said,
happens.
Joey, I'm good. No, I too would decline.
Well, you know what, Deborah, you weren't invited anyway. So
Kitty has claws.
oh,
I think first dates can sometimes be overrated because not everyone is confident as they would like to be, and they got their nervous jitters or whatever. But I think that if you had sex on the first night, I think that was a pretty good date.
Sure.
Honestly, like even if somebody wanted to have sex but they wasn't necessarily for sure about you, something that they saw in you obviously gave them that feeling. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
hey, it all depends on the person, and it depends on how they view it.
right.
So, just real quickly, is there a difference between seeing someone and dating someone?
I think it's like going on a date is not the same as what we would say when we say, like, if you're dating someone. Going on a date, you're, I guess, just trying to decide if you want to. I think when we say dating, we mean like exclusively that's the person you're dating. I think.
Not necessarily exclusively, but
Right, but I'm saying in
they're
general.
in the running. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. What did T say? So, is seeing and dating the same thing?
No, like if I don't know what you mean by seeing, or I know people use that term. I'm seeing somebody. I
Yeah.
think that's just another term for dating that they could use.
Yeah.
But like if you just hanging out with somebody, doesn't necessarily just mean it's just you and that person. Like you could hang out with somebody at a social event, at a party, stuff like that. Um, like grabbing a coffee or something. But until you
But
actually
is that seeing
define what
someone?
it is, it's not necessarily.
Someone if I want to have a coffee with someone, is that seeing someone? If I say, yeah, if someone says to me, are you single? And they say, I'm seeing someone.
Oh, that means they're dating.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're dating.
Because
Yeah.
I read that US look at it slightly different, and when I looked up, it says seeing someone is pretty casual and initial stages of a relationship, whereas
I
dating
could see
is
that. Yeah, I could see that.
main
I
difference
think
between
Yeah.
dating.
either way means it's more than just once or twice. Like it's multiple times. And maybe one just means a little more serious, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
Again,
but it
I haven't
also
dated
depends on
since I
if
was 18, so I don't know.
it also depends if you're asking that person out on a date or if you're just having a conversation with somebody. Because if you ask somebody out on a date and they agree, but then they turn around and say, I've been seeing this guy, and it's like, okay, that means you're shopping around. So, if I, get to have sex with you on the first night, that's fine. Because 9 times out of 10, you're not going to choose me, or you're not the choosing type. You like to keep your options open. You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, yes, sir.
Got two things from Deborah Reed. She says, "Oh, okay, I will not be looking for an invitation." That's to Joey. And she also says, "I call it taking applications, and I am in the interviewing process."
Is it?
If I ever met anyone that seriously said that statement, like that was serious about it, yeah, No, I'm out. That's a deal breaker.
It's a deal breaker. Okay.
Yeah, that's a deal breaker.
So,
But if I had to
Yeah,
guess, I'd say I'm probably not Deborah's type, so I'll be all right.
so I guess Deborah's saying she's got some vacancies.
I guess that's what she's saying. I think she's hitting on Big T.
Get in line, Davey. Get in line.
Deborah, you know where you can reach me. But anyways,
Dear. Believe in sex
I
on the
think
first date.
that I mean things happen. It's we're all adults here, right? You know what I mean? So
It's
we
still
all
changing.
make.
Well,
Said
See,
no,
in
I'm not.
theory, no, I wouldn't do it. In practical, we're all adults here.
Obviously, like I said, it depends on the person, depends on the situation. So, I mean, for me, I don't know, Deborah from Adam. So if she wanted it, she couldn't have it. You know what I mean? And probably the same thing goes for me. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Me personally, I'm not going to take that chance on just meeting somebody, no matter how pleasant the conversation was in the first 10
Imagine
minutes or
what
whatever.
kind of program is this? Someone just writes in now, or just writes in, to join us in, and now Big T is talking about having sex with her.
It's
My
not,
apologies, Deborah. My apologies.
she's not interviewing. But she says this is a great conversation.
Okay.
I mean,
But we're lucky.
Big T and Deborah both need to be careful because he just admitted he cannot tell her from Adam. So if you can't tell a woman from a man, there's a
No.
nowadays.
By that I mean I don't know her other than the words on the screen. You know what I
Oh, I
mean?
see.
So
I see.
that's what I mean. So to go back on what she said about taking applications earlier, I've run into women like that who like to keep a full roster of guys, and she used them for different things, areas of her life, like someone who listens to her, emotional baggage,
Somebody she needs to come fix the washing machine.
somebody who takes her on vacation, someone who pays the bills, and someone who drops pipe off. You know what I mean? So, if you them type of women, stay away from me. And then other than that, it's some guys who prefer that. Oh, that's all I got to do. Oh, I'm fine with that. There was a guy who made a video, and it was real sad. He was like in his 40s or his 50s, and he said that he just wanted to find a woman that he can hug so he could have some type of emotional gratification. He said he didn't want to have sex or kiss or anything like that. He just wanted hugs. And I just was like, wow, that's a lot to unpack. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe stay away from that guy.
Maybe he's just shrewd. Maybe he's just shrewd.
Maybe he shouldn't be allowed to babysit kids or go close to schools. I'm just saying.
He's just trying to get to the front door. He's just trying to get through the front door.
Yeah. That's going to be the last hug they'll ever get. But anyways.
Well, I think
it's man. Yeah,
about that
it's
time.
about that time we wrap it up. I want to give a shout out to Easy. He couldn't make it here today, but
Sure.
we had the audience fill in for you today, man. So any final thoughts, Joey?
Yeah, actually, so I want to tell everyone to go and follow us on Facebook. And there we are on Facebook. It's Something for the Weekend. You can see there. And then on YouTube, which is a new channel. There's nothing there yet, but we'll have the videos will stream to there, and they'll be saved there for anyone to access at any time. So Facebook and YouTube. And then that's what I got. Thanks for hanging out and watching the show. Deborah, please go check us out on social media. And I had a great time.
Andre, how about you?
Yeah, just the usual. It's always a pleasure. During the week things are busy. I always think I've really got time to to get things together and join you guys on the Sunday. And then when it happens, thank God I did. It makes me realize why we get back here every other week. Yeah, love what we do. Long may it continue.
Yeah.
All right. Roxanne.
I agree here. Good old Andre. As he said, it's always
A struggle.
to actually do this. But once you're here, we get together, interact with the guys on Facebook. It's great fun.
And just quickly say, Roxanne was adamant that she wanted some stuff barbecued today. I thought, really, have I got enough time to get it done? But Roxanne made it clear I had enough time to get it done.
You
so.
had, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
But you enjoyed it, though.
Oh yeah,
didn't
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Thank goodness for that maid, huh, Andre? But, anyway,
Saying that Roxanne is still cleaning up
Oh,
before she's not a maid. Well, she's a cleaner. But Roxanne is still cleaning up before she arrives. So
it's not cleaning up. If you think washing dishes is cleaning up,
well, you know, you asked me who cleaned the dishes before she came. I said that I did. The truth is I didn't. She washed them up. Yeah, I said it. She washed them up.
yeah.
all right. For me, I really think that men should be honest with their partner, and don't be afraid to be vulnerable, but don't be overly emotional. That'll make you look weak and put you in a bad position. And as far as sex on the first date, just be careful, when you're making that decision, that you're not giving it to somebody who's gonna climb up your drain pipe and knock on your window at 3 a.m. because that could be annoying.
That's a whole new story. Yeah.
All right, but other than that, you gonna say goodbye, Joey?
Yeah. Goodbye, everyone. See you in 2 weeks.
Andre?
Yeah, great as always. 2 weeks time.
Roxanne?
Good night, everyone.
I have been your host, Big T. Thank you for watching Something for the Weekend. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Peace.
For sure.